Welcome back to the channel. I am Casually Farms, and this is our first series called The Herd here on Ray County, Missouri. And essentially, we have a couple questions to answer. The first off being, can we successfully start a cattle and pig operation with the help from you guys becoming the cattle and the pigs? We have $1.5 million. We're starting with no land. We're starting with no equipment and no animals. So can we do it? Let's jump right into it. And we need to start purchasing the land first off. We're going to buy this farm here, and it comes with field 16, which has about 18.5 acres of corn on it at this moment in time. We're going to purchase that. That's going to be a pretty big chunk down in. We got $801 left. Okay, we can't just buy one. We're going to have to buy two. Field 17, which is just kitty corner, we got 10.69 acres. Good Lanta. All right, we're going to buy that one. That one's got some soybeans on it as well. And since we're doing some cattle, that means that we're going to have to do some sort of bales of some sort. So field 19. We're going to purchase field 19, which is 11.86 acres. All right, we're going to purchase that up, and we're going to buy that. That's going to leave us with only $579,000. All right, well, it's a beautiful October morning here as we start this here, and wow, would you look at that? We got the decorations out already. Imagine that. All right, so we still have $579,000 left in our bank account, and we essentially need to start doing some harvest here. So we're gonna have to kick this off and purchase some equipment so we can start doing some harvesting. Let's open up our menu to purchase some of our vehicles here. We're gonna be using a mod that's gonna give us more options of things to buy at a discounted price, but they are gonna be, used equipment. So we do need to be careful with what we are purchasing, but we for sure are going to need a tractor. I'd like to find like a do-it-all tractor. We're gonna need a combine. We're gonna need, we need everything. So we're going to look through this stuff here and see what we can buy. I do know for this map in particular, we need this mod right here. It's a special mixer for this map that I know that we're going to need. So we might as well get that one purchased off the bat. We do have some balers here. That's great. Well, let's continue to look down this here and see what else we can find. We do have some sort of New Holland disc bind. We can look at that as well. We do have a combine. Hey, that's a great. So yeah, that one actually, you know what? We're going to keep that one on the docket. We're going to come back to that and look at that. Ooh, we do have a little bit bigger baler here. All right. Well, this is the John Deere accumulator. That is a round baler. Does 181 centimeters. That's kind of an odd one compared to the base game, which I think is 180. Oh my, look. Okay. For 37,000, how could you not go with this one right here? This is a tractor that would do it all. Definitely, we're going to have to bump the horsepower up though, I think, but maybe we can get by. Maybe we wouldn't have to go with the big tractor. The 8410. Like this one here, which is 270 horsepower, but why not at 50,000? At 50,000, it'd be just silly not to, wouldn't we? It'd be super silly not to. All right, we're going to go ahead and get this 8410 for $53,000. That's a heck of a steal. We are going to have to do some maintenance on this first off the bat. All right, so we got that done. So with harvest right around the corner, I do think that we're obviously going to need a combine, and I am kind of staring down this. This is a 2366. And I think what we're going to change is I kind of like the duals more so than the individual standard floating tires. For whatever reason, I like those style of tires on here. We want the side protectors. We don't need the decals, rear weights. We don't need that. We can keep everything standard on this for $40,000. It's going to work. So let's get this one bought. We're going to get ourselves all right, so with a couple of this equipment bought here, let's get this stuff out of the way because we're going to have to kind of get some more stuff purchased here. So let's get this stuff moved out of the way. Look at that tractor. This is going to be a nice tractor to be able to use around the farm and get most of our heavy work done with this one. We'll definitely be able to, utilize this tractor for pretty much anything that we can think of. All right, with the combine here, I do know we're going to need a corn header and we're going to need a bean header. What we're going to have to go with here. So let's get this one purchased. Let's get this one here, and that's going to be $14,000. Not too bad of a price there. So let's get this stuff here, and let's get all of this stuff out of the way because we got to keep purchasing more equipment for this farm, but we got to be very cautious of what we're spending here because we always still have $408,000. So we're going to have to really kind of, you know, take it easy with what we're buying here. Believe what we're going to want to do first is we're going to want to get these soybeans done. So let's fire up the case 2366 and get the header attached onto this thing here. Let's get this thing fired up, ready to go. Let's get this thing dropped down and start harvesting these soybeans. We're going to be keeping the straw swath on here. That way we can create enough straw and hopefully continue to make a little bit of money here. Because of what we're going to be doing with this particular playthrough is we are going to be having the realistic animal mod on here. So that way I can name the cattle after you guys. The way that you guys get your names in here for a random drawing is subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to go down in the description, join the Discord, and hop on over to the channel in there, and it says join the herd, and follow the prompts on how to enter your name, and then there will be a random drawing for some cows or pigs, depending on which one you want to play. There is a limit of 100 pigs, and I don't have quite a limit yet on the cows, but there will be a limit at some point for the cows themselves. This is going to be an interactive one with you guys because I need your guys' help. Without you guys, I can't get more cattle. The hopes is that we're going to have to sometimes wait until some of the cows are actually born, just because that's the way that this realistic mod actually works, is they can only reproduce if there is a bull with them. It's not like the regular base game animal system. It is completely overhauled. So it's going to be kind of a learning curve with us and with you. And if you guys have any tips and tricks, don't be afraid to leave them down in the comments section down below. So that way we can help not just myself, but we can help the community in a whole. So if you guys have some tips and tricks on any of this stuff that we are doing here in Farming Simulator, if I'm doing something wrong, don't be afraid to let me know, but be nice about it. That's all I ask. Just be nice about it. Be courteous people. I'm really liking the way that these textures on this ground is looking. That is looking really good. The deformation on the field as well is looking mighty fine. This is looking really good. So it's early 8 o'clock in the morning. It is pretty foggy out here in this October morning, 63 degrees. What I'd like to try to do is get some of this all harvested before we get any of this cattle stuff done. We're gonna have to just work on this field here. I know that alfalfa field that is across the road down the lane there is definitely something that we need to get ourselves worked on as well here to get our first cut of alfalfa before it gets too terribly cold out. We're coming up to our first pass here, and we are like, we aren't even 50% full, which is pretty bad for this field. We're going to be able to make another round, I'm betting. We'll have to get ourselves to 8410 with the Parker wagons up here. Probably only really need one of them, but we'll keep both of them here for us. But yeah, this is going to take us a little while here. So this map is really unique. No Creek Farms has kind of modeled his own soil. So it's not precision farming soil from Giants. This is a map custom soil here, but we haven't even actually done any of the precision farming stuff yet. But we'd like to try to do that just because, you know, then we can put in the right applications and the right amounts of seed and fertilizer and herbicide and all that kind of stuff to be able to make this more efficient, cost efficient on our end of things. It looks like we're at about 82% full right now. I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to make it all the way around because there was a couple spots just on the other side over here that we were getting quite a bit better yielding off of that. So it's going to be kind of close. We might be able to make it, maybe not. We'll find out here very shortly. So as we're coming up this hill, rolling back towards the farm, we're sitting at 93% full. I'm thinking we can make it back. We're going to have to grab the 8410 and bring that around with the gravity wagons here so we can unload up here in that grass section over here. All right, looks like we are completely full. Let's get this thing backed up here. Be able to just kind of hopefully swing right up underneath the auger there. Hopefully we fit. I think that auger... Oh, geez. I think that auger is far enough out. Yeah, we're going to have to really watch that dual over here, though. It's going to be tight. It's going to be pretty tight. We might have to hop out and maneuver the combine around a little bit here. There we go, getting that filled up. First load of beans getting dumped into the grain cart there. And we didn't even fill that up partially All right, so I would like to mention that this series is going to be kind of we're kind of not do a whole lot of role playing stuff. It's just going to be kind of as we kind of play the game here, just kind of a playthrough, more style of this, kind of a survival. Is can we keep you guys as the animals alive? All right, so we got the lines indicating here. We're just going to pull this up so that way we can see where our first start is. Now let me know, guys, do we want to continue? I think I'm going to do this field with the straw swath enabled like this, but let me know down in the comment section. Should we enable this for the soybeans or disable this for the soybeans? I know we want to do it for the corn, so that way we can actually make, which I believe is called corn fodder. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what it is called. But, you know, if we can get straw off of this as well, that's, I guess, you know, that's going to be beneficial for us because we can actually just sell that even more. We can actually utilize more of the land, of the crops that are on the land. I think it'll be fine. But let me know down in the comments down below if we should continue to keep dropping the soybeans like this, or shall we change it up and not drop it? All right, so now our time scale is on 5 up there on the top right. It's about 10 o'clock, so I'm not quite sure. We're on single days. We're not on 2 days. I don't think we quite need that quite yet. For this size of a map, the fields aren't terribly big. You can usually get most of the stuff you want done in a single day. Now, there might become a chance where we actually have to bump that up to 2 days. And kind of maybe, you know, we're just going to have to kind of play with it and test with it and see how it goes. So we need to get this field done. Hopefully next go around when we plant this field, you know, we're not going to have as much weeds in there as we do right now. So it's one of those things. Unfortunately, that's the way the field was when we got it. We're just going to have to deal with it. Well, we're going to pick this thing up because we're sitting at 98% full. We'll just back out of here. We're going to shut this thing off, and we're just going to drive it up to the up top up there, so that way we can unload this just directly onto the gravity wagons, and we don't have to walk up there since we're a single farmer on this farm. So yeah, we're just gonna have to drive this up there. All right, we'll get this front one filled up here. All right, that one's full. Let's see if we can catch this back one here. Perfect. All right, well, we don't have a whole lot left. I think the rest of this is probably gonna fit on the combine here. We're going to swing back around this way, and we should be able to catch that. Should be able to catch this down here. Now, this is a good looking combine though. It is 2366, not too shabby. When I first started helping my uncle, I believe that this was the first combine that he had when I started helping him. And since then we've upgraded some combines, but yeah, I'm pretty sure, and it might have been the same size header. Just not this exact number header right here. I can't remember if that was what it was. If it was the 3050, I just don't quite remember. I think we're just gonna have to sell these bales because we don't need too many of them. The only ones that we really need straw for is the calf weaning barn, because the big pasture one is designed that it's not going to create any manure. So we don't really need any straw for that, although you can put straw in it. It just gives it the aesthetics that there's straw in it, but I don't think we're going to need to put anything in there. So I don't think we're going to need a terribly large amount at the start. You guys are going to want to stay tuned because we are going to start implementing some cows here towards the end of this episode, because, you know, we got some people that want to become animals on this series. So thank you to every single one of you. I know there's some of you that didn't get in, but hey, you might be able to get in the next random drawing that we have. Well, we're at 92% full on this, and I'm kind of afraid that we're going to get stuck down at the very bottom. So I think what I'm going to do is we're just going to lift this back up, and we're going to go and just dump this on the wagons themselves, and that way we can continue on. And the back, this should fill that back wagon, and we should be able to put this into the first bin. That's pretty exciting to get this first load dumped into the bin down here. All right, let's see if we can get this thing in there. Yes, we can. All right. Yeah, we should be able to probably fit the rest of this in there. Everything should be on wheels that we can get up into the yard up there. So these two can get unloaded into the bin themselves. I don't think that we're going to probably get the rest of this stuff on that wagon, but you never know. We'll attempt to try it anyways. Well, with this field almost being completed here, we only got a couple more passes here. we still have a lot of work to do here on the day. I would like to get this stuff, once this field's done, get this unloaded into the bin, get the combine switched over to start doing some corn. But first, we gotta go grab ourselves a bite to eat for lunch since we're close to home. I'd like to introduce the cows and the pigs to the farm. So we'll get this field done first, unload everything, get this stuff unloaded into the bins up there, grab ourselves a bite to eat, and then we'll go over and we will start looking at some of the animal situations. So if any of you are unfamiliar with the realistic livestock mod, this mod puts a huge emphasis on maintaining your animals. So the way it works is you have to pay attention to them. You just have to. Otherwise, their ability to reproduce, their ability to maintain metabolism and their weight, and there's just a whole wide of range of things that need to be done in order to keep you guys alive. And there's a random chance that the cattle or the pig could actually die from giving birth to accidents, to old age, to illness. This whole mod just wraps in so much realism into this game. It is crazy. So we'll see how this all works out. Once we get into that, it's going to be a fun time. We'll kind of see how everybody plays out, because, you know, you might be some of you mischief ones out there that maybe get injured and, you know, potentially, you know, don't make it. The crazy thing is that just adds so much realism to it, and it's going to add so much more, I believe, fun for you guys, just kind of see how that farm grows as a whole, and you guys can be a part of it, and I hope you guys do become a part of it. So if you guys haven't yet, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. The link is down in the description down below. Join that, go over to the join the herd, follow the instructions on how to get your name into this, so that way there's a possibility that your guys' names could get into one of the episodes. I don't think this is all going to fit, but maybe we can make it. Maybe we could make it kind of fit. Nope, not gonna fit. There's gonna be just a little bit left on here. Oh, we did get empty. Nice. We are empty. Look at that, guys. All right, let's bring this up to the yard. All right, let's leave this thing right here. Let's come on over here, and we need to get this fired up. I am really hoping that we can dump directly into that. All right, the International 1468 is all fired up, ready to rock and roll. We need to go grab the 8410. I'm really hoping we can get this thing to unload on this here. I hope we don't have to get a drive over, but if we have to, we have to. So I'm thinking we might need to get a drive over here, guys. All right, well, that's going to change a couple things here. All right, we just got ourselves, we purchased a drive overable. That's the only thing that we had for this. So, well, we spent $22,000 on that. But that's the only way that I could think of getting that to work. We had to spend the money. While we were doing that, getting that stuff, we did spend some more money because we did repaint. Yeah, we repainted and fixed the combine and the tractor. So we spent a pretty good chunk of money just fixing and repairing that. But I think we're good for the time being. Let's back this up and get this hooked up, because we need to start unloading. We got both of them. We do have both of them. All right, perfect. We need to come on over here and start getting this thing unloaded. So now that we have everything set up the way that it's going to have to work this way, and hopefully, I am really hoping the duals are going to fit over the top of this. If not, we're just going for it. Okay? All right, well, they didn't really fit. A little unrealistic, but hey, it is what it is. It's working. All right, there we go. First load of soybeans into the bin. Very nice. We'll have to maybe kind of rearrange some of the setup here on how we come. Maybe we come in from the other side so we got better ability to swing. But with those duals on here, I'm kind of thinking, I don't know how else to kind of do that. Maybe we could come alongside of it. We could possibly try that. I just don't know how we're going to do it. I'd have to really mess around and try to figure out how to get that to maybe like load on the side. Once this is done, we should be able to hop out and stop the tractor, shut that the International off there. So while that's all working there, that is looking pretty good. So I'd have to figure out how to do that. Basically, you'd have to have it like down here and come up this way. And then you could probably drive in from the side. Yeah, we'd have to kind of do some situating of this stuff to get it all worked out. Well, that's all done there. We could get this shut off, so that's turned off. All right, let's come up here and let's get this stuff parked up out of the way. Need to park it out of the way here so that way we can get the corn header hooked up. We're going to have to find something that's got singles on here, not the duals on the back. Let's turn this off and let's come on over here to the cattle barn down here. We're gonna introduce the brand new members to the series, and we have 3 cows. So the way this works is we need a bull, and we're gonna need female cows to be able to reproduce and make us, you know, obviously they can reproduce and create more animals. I think we're gonna purchase this one and this one because we have 3 cows and we need a bull. Now this one's a pretty small baby bull. So what we could possibly do, I know it's a little like, but we could literally get this thing to grow old, hopefully without it dying. And what we can do, so we're going to purchase this one here, and we're then going to purchase these 2 females right here with the hopes that maybe in the next coming month or so, these things will reset and hopefully we can find a couple other ones that can actually reproduce, just because some of these bulls that we have here, they're not quite old enough. So I'm really hoping we can find one that can reproduce. Like some of these ones can, they're 13 months. So the bull is average with that, but well, let's see. Let's just purchase these 3 right here. So these 2 here and this bull. So let's purchase these 3 bulls here. Buy selected. Oh my goodness. $3,000 for the first set of cows here. And there they are, just out here playing around. So cool thing about this mod is it gives you so much information on the right hand side as far as what is going on with what. So we got to keep these, we got to keep them alive. But first off, we need to name them. Let's hop back in over into our menu. The first one we are going to name is the female, and these are just completely random. I'm just picking them. Big Mac is his name, and that one came from AF Farms, one of the guys that I know that does some YouTubing, so go check him out. So this one, his name, Big. All right, Big Mac, let's see if we can get you going. So that's a confirm. We got Big Mac named. All right. The next one here is we're going to change the name on this one, and this one's coming from Rum Barbecue. Barbecue. All right. Thank you guys for all that stuff. And then the last one we got here for this episode is we got Ember Duck. There you go, guys. Welcome. Welcome to the herd. Welcome to the series. I am excited for this. Let's go check them out. They're all just kind of, you know, there's no grass here. So we might have to buy some hay and get them going. All right, this is Rum Barbecue. What's up, Rum? Nice to meet you. And this one here is Big Mac from AF Farms. He's kind of a little wobbly there. He's got a lot of growing to do. All right, and then we got Ember Duck here. Welcome. Yes. All right. We got them going, so let's get this stuff closed up because we got some pigs to do over here. We got to introduce two pigs over here in the pig barn. So let's get on over here and get those all set up. Same thing. These things will reset. There's only a select amount of them that we can actually have, but I do think that we're going to need a male and a female. So we have one that's like 6 months old, and they can reproduce at 8 months. So that we have for females. This one seems to be pretty good, but she's 18 months, which is not too bad. 9 months. They can reproduce at 6 months. So I think we're going to purchase this one right here. And I think we're going to go with this one right here. For whatever reason, we only got 2 more months to go before this one can breed, which isn't going to be too bad. So we're going to purchase both of these because we only got two people that wanted to be pigs. Let's name them. Let's go down into here. And like I said, totally random as far as who gets what. And the first one that we're going to pick here is Dockwood. Welcome to the herd. And then we got the boar down here. And the last one that we have is a pretty fitting name for this, for being a boar. But this one is going to be called McRib. All right. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome on into the herd. Glad you guys are here. You know, you're taking a nap already? Typical pig. Typical pig, McRib. Typical pig. You guys are lonely, but we'll eventually get this all filled out. You guys can't escape. Stay in there. Oh, you're having fun over there. All right, so we have a lot to do because we need to get this. We need to get the animals. We need to get them some food. The pigs in specific, we need to go pick a little bit of this corn over here so that way we can actually give them some food over here. The cows, on the other hand, I'm thinking we still have some time in the day that I think I want to go pick a couple rounds of corn, at least get a couple loads in the gravity wagons themselves. Then I want to go over and maybe do a quick bale, maybe a quick pass or two around the alfalfa field because we need some hay. I got to get them fed. If I don't give them any food, you guys start losing your health and start becoming bad. We don't want that. So let's hop into the combine here, get this thing fired up and grab that corn header. Get on in here and pick this up. Whoop. Like so. And we're going to see if we can sneak. I think we can sneak right through here. We're definitely going to leave the straw swath on. Just because we should be able to sell some of that stuff. All right, so let's just nose in here. Just gonna kind of take this thing straight down. Now that is what I call a big straw swath right there. Wowzers. Okay. Well, I would really like to maybe get some of this opened up here. We're getting some pretty decent amount of corn out of this. Let's see, we got such a big corn head, we're going to have to kind of go at an angle here to open that part up so we don't run over any corn because we do have crop destruction on, guys. There we go. Let's get this thing spun around here. We could probably just leave the straw swath off for right now. Get this thing opened up. Come back around. This should give us enough. If we fill up at least one of those grain carts, that will fill us up so that way we can get enough in here to make ourselves some pig food. With that mixer, get the headlands opened up here. I know we're not going to make it all the way around for sure with what we have because we're already 43% full because this thing looks like it's just eating the corn. So what we can do is maybe just get to this point. We'll back up. We'll cut back around. We'll just cut through here, make ourselves cut this direction. We're going to have to turn this so that way we're actually picking with the corn. Back up here. This should be plenty enough right around here to be able to get at least some of that corn, like I said, into the gravity wagons. We're sitting at 80% full. I think we'll be able to get up here in the clearing, and we'll have to go grab the tractor again. We'll have to go unhook the tractor from the auger and get that mixer hooked up to it, so that way we can mix that up. You guys are going to want to see, because this takes special. All it takes is corn and soybeans, and you can add some mineral feed to it if you want to. But it, like I said earlier in the episode, it creates TMR, which is pretty cool. All right, so part of this problem is probably going to be that's going to be close. I'm not sure how that's all going to work out, but let's go on over and grab the wagon. This is going to be kind of sketchy if you ask me. All right, looks like we're getting we got it to work, so that's a plus. Bad news is I don't know if I'll be able to turn around without hitting something. We might have to hop out here. And that should actually be plenty enough for this. So we should probably go get some of those pigs mixed at least. Let's see if we can get this thing jockeyed out of here. Ooh, this is going to be... Probably should have just moved the tractor. All right, we made it. We made it. Just like that. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. We're gonna open this up here just so we got room to turn that thing around. All right, let's go grab the 8410 and get that thing kind of whipped back around over here. And I think we could probably just unhook the tractor from the auger cart and go grab the grain mixer over there. And let's see if we can kind of mix this stuff up here. We're going to have to kind of pull this back. Let's just put this over here because we're going to need the grain cart. Let's take this. We'll just leave that there. Yeah, we got to grab this one here. So we'll fire that up, we'll unhook it, and we'll go grab the mixer. This is our first attempt at mixing TMR for the pigs. So the way that this is going to work, we're going to open up our menu down here so we can see. And we should be able to open up this cart underneath the bean, unload auger for the bin itself. Let's see how fast this is going to load. All right, so we're sitting at 2,500. Now, this is kind of a work in progress still, so this might get relayed back to No Creek Farms to see if we can slow that down even a little bit more. We need to pan down and take a look here and see. We can also look at our meters up here on the top left. We need to get this all mixed here. And it looks like it is completely full. So we didn't quite get enough. Let's see how this works here. We might have reached our limit. And it does look like it's 100% full. So we're going to have to go empty some of this over for the pigs anyways. And try to get this thing so we can do some TMR, some total mixed rations with this. So unfortunately, it's not going to be 100%, but they will take it. So yeah, it's just a trial and error. Once you get this thing perfect and figure out how much you actually need, this is a pretty cool mod. So let's come over here, get this unloaded here. We need to open up our lid. All right, let's unload that. They can have a little bit of that. I know it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to give them what 100% of what they need, but it's going to work for what we need it to work for right now. All right, let's finish unloading that, and let's park it along the side. I don't want to completely fill that up right now because I don't want, whoops, because I don't want, I want to try to get this thing, you know, correct. We do need to situate our auger down here so that way we can unload some corn. All right, so I think we got this all set up and ready to rock and roll for the corn over here. Okay, let's go get this pulled back around into the field. I have that auger all set up and ready to go, so let's go pick a little bit of corn, and we still need a little bit of time. We do not have anything to mow the grass quite yet, but we need to get this set up into the field here, at least along the field, maybe. Something like this. All right, so we got everything set up, ready to rock and roll. We're going to kind of finish this little section right here and get hopefully a couple loads into those grain carts over there. We don't have too much here to kind of mess around with and make sure everything is working properly. Now, we don't have anything to, you know, do any mowing or anything like that. We could take a look and see what we have on the market and see if there's anything that we can utilize to be able to get any of that stuff so we can start purchasing it. We only got $171,000. We better turn our straw swath on is what we probably should do. That way we can, you know, start maybe selling some straw bales. So we'll get that all set here. All right, we are completely full. I should have realized that. Well, let's back up. We'll have to go dump this. I kind of was spacing there because I was worried about the straw swath and thinking about how we're going to get something to mow that alfalfa over there. Whoa, we just about poked a hole in that thing. There we go, unloading that. While that's happening, let's take a look and see what we have in the used market for anything that we could utilize for mowing. Ooh, that sprayer would actually come in handy, I think. Let's purchase that because we actually are going to need that. All right, we got that purchased. Let's take a look up here and just see if there's anything that we can utilize right now. We still have $169,000, so we can spend some money, but we got to be careful again what we're spending it on. So let's see. I'm thinking we could, I'm hoping that there's some sort of mower. Like that would be so nice to have, but I don't want to spend the $97,000 on it right now. We have this New Holland hay bind. What size is that? That is 9 meters wide. That would take a little bit of time. So for $1,100, I think we're going to purchase this. This is 9 meters wide, so that's going to take a pretty good cut out of there. So let's buy that as well while we're at it. It is starting to get a little bit later in the day. Let's go maybe make a pass because I need to get some of those. I need to get some of those cows fed as well. So we need some bales. All right, I know it's a little bit later in the day, but let's go grab this hay bind real quick. And let's go cut a path around and at least maybe get a bale or two. I don't think the cows that we have in there right now are something that's going to be, you know, they're not going to eat a whole lot at this point in time. There's only 3 of them and they're fairly young. But when their metabolism's high, they're going to eat a lot more. So let's get on down here and at least make ourselves, you know, a path around the field maybe and get ourselves a couple bales. I know we're kind of jumping around from this, but I needed to get some food for those animals. It's kind of a stressful day. All right, so I know we're going to probably, we could go, yeah, let's go down this way. We could probably utilize the ditch there to kind of get ourselves, you know, a spot so we're not running over the alfalfa and killing it. Okay, let's get alongside this here. We can drop this down. I know this is going to probably, yep, it's going to kind of kill some of that, but we're going to have to deal with it. All right, there we go. We got our first little path here, whopping 5 miles an hour. We're going super fast. This is going to take a little time. And we're going to have to get this thing spun around. So let's shut this off. And I think what we can do is just go for it. All right, we're going to switch it to that side here. Drop that baby down and away we go. This isn't too bad of a setup, but the only thing that I dislike, you got to run some crop over, which, yeah, it's going to be kind of an unfortunate thing, but at least we were able to kind of utilize the ditch over there to get our first path, and then we're not destroying so much of the crop by being able to run there in the ditch. So this here we'll be able to, we'll get a couple passes up and down here and be able to go grab the baler, at least make a couple bales and throw it in there for the cows to eat. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and join the Discord to be part of the herd. See you next time on Casually Farms.